Uranium friends checking in on ASX names, starting off with Bannerman on the monthly. So, yeah, I don't get a lot of chances to look at the ASX as much as I should because honestly, I don't really trade them that much. I have position in Bannerman, I have position in Silex, I have position in Deep Yellow, I have a position in Lotus, I have position in Paladin, I have a position in Peninsula, unfortunately. Uh, that's it. Okay, so Bannerman monthly. Yeah. So all great action, right? So the fibs are here, 38% retracement, monthly bull flag. But you know, what's nice is that we're getting through all this volume here. Um, and so, on any pullbacks, we want to see this volume shelf kind of hold up, right? So, previous price action over here back in 08, 09, right? It's kind of through this level, which is pretty cool, right? You have these next two resistance spots that you have to deal with. But, if you think anything about this volume profile here, just think of it as where are the bag holders? Because that's where they are, right? This is where all the buying and selling is occurring. This is where the volume occurs. This is where, in 2006 or 7 or 8 or whatever, people were buying in here. Some might still be holding it. It's just going to be very happy to get even when it gets here. And this is what causes resistance levels to come into play. All right. So, volume profile, think of it as the bag holders. We've gotten through just about all the bag holders at this point, right? As far as this is concerned, this is the lifetime of the stock. So Bannerman supposedly higher all-in sustaining costs. I'll leave that to the fundamental guys. Monthly, barring all of this action from the 2020 lows here, monthly looks fantastic. It's a monthly bull pennant. Fibonacci 38.2 retracement, which is fantastic, right? And it's just making its way up. It was a great push in January. Um, no red flags on this name at all, and most of the ASX names look kind of the same way. So looks good. The potential for the monthly cup and handle setup. So we kind of reject at this point, and then maybe get some consolidation for the next leg up. A lot of the space in general, regardless of ASX or Canadian or American, United States, they're all kind of doing the same thing. These patterns are kind of prevalent throughout. So you start watching those patterns, and when one or two or three or whatever start to fail, as you zoom in, you could rightly think that the rest might follow suit. So weekly chart here, again, no concerns. It's a 12 EMA rider with the 50-day moving average. Again, if you get anything, forget about knowing technical analysis. You get anything out of these videos, understand that these stocks in this space love to ride these moving averages. It's what they do. It's as clear as day. You got to see it, right? They ride these averages. When they let go for a bit. They ride them. All right. It's doing the same thing. It's riding it. So it's reasonable to even say if it back tests all the way back down to 298, $3, it's fine. It's absolutely fine. That's Bannerman. It looks fine to me. I mean, just real quick look on the daily. Yeah, the daily. I mean, this is some people call this a diamond reversal pattern. Um, I don't really get nutso with that, but I'll just show you what they kind of look like. Diamond reversal pattern looks kind of like this. It's got that form of a diamond, right? Those can sometimes be construed as reversal patterns, whatever. Um, Daily looks fine. It's riding the 12 EMA. Little undercuts here. He gets an undercut back down to test this recent support. Fine, right? So that's Bannerman. From the technical front, it looks good. Couple of areas, next resistance. If it gets through this, what is it, 435? The next spot's going to be 515 and then 905. No biggie. Boss, you're going to see is a different chart altogether. And, good old Chapman keeps saying to short it. The guy's been saying to sell it and short it for, I don't know, like a year. It's overvalued. It's overvalued. It's overvalued. It's overvalued. Technical analysis has some sort of credence in that as much as the fundamental guys say this is well overvalued and the honeymoon and blah blah blah, this is not going to make it. Well, guess what? It's just riding its average all the way up. So monthly 12 EMA rider. No, I could sit here and tell you, oh, there's red flags. There's monthly divergence. There's all sorts of red flags here. It's way too stretched. I mean, there's been no real true consolidation, no pullbacks. Keeps on going. Let it keep going. So, like these things like this, I'm just looking for the spots where I want to get an ad. You know, that's what I'm using technical analysis for and stuff like this. Boss is going to have to be like something really delicious is going to happen for me to buy it. But again, they're these ASX names are all looking like these stupid little reversal patterns. I don't put much weight into them personally. I would just stick with these. I'm personally sticking with the moving average riders because they've been a solid indicator in the space for the 3 years that I've been following this space. So I'm sticking with that. These moving average riders. Boss is just strong. It's a super strong chart. It's probably one of the strongest charts in any of the exchanges in this entire sector, as far as I'm concerned. So nothing is telling. People were saying it was no good here. It's too strong. It's got to pull back. It's got to pull back. It's got to pull back. It doesn't. So, in my opinion, it's not pulling back. And if it does, it's pulling back to these averages at this level, which is 397. I mean, that's the spot. A back test from the all-time high breakout, perfectly reasonable. And it's a buying opportunity as far as I'm concerned. It's just that there's not really a clear level close by to work off of. But you see this level break, and then the next true level is going to be down here. So does anybody want that dollar drawdown? You guys make that decision on your own. I'm just calling it like I see it. So, boss, strongest name in the entire space in any exchange, as far as I'm concerned. Deep yellow monthly, constructive looking here. So if you take a guy who or a person who has no idea about this sector or anything, and they look at this chart and they go, well, it's okay. It's nothing crazy. I mean, it's constructive, quote unquote. But what's good about it? Well, you've had all of these rejections here at the top of this volume shelf, and we'll zoom into the weekly to see what this looks like better. And it's kind of pushing its way through now. So previous levels over here that were support, previous chop over here, lot of action here. It's kind of working its way through now. So just to zoom in, I mean, but look at the volume ramp up, which is, it's very telling. Look at the volume. Okay, the buyers are flowing in. They've been flowing in for 2 years, 3 years, right? Flowing in, and they're ramping up. The buyers are ramping up, right? So technical analysts will say this is a bit of a volume climax here, but is it really? I don't know. All I know is that it's starting to take out a pretty big zone of resistance. It's got to get through here and back test it. That's going to be the best thing. If it rejects here and back tests these, this consolidation area, it's going to be fine. Also, I just want to zoom in on a weekly because I want to look at this the volume profile. Let's see if we can get anything. Yeah, it's just the bag holders are gone. Okay, there's a little bit more here for selling. You're probably going to run into some issues up in here, but we're not really worried about that yet. But the bag holders are gone, man. They're gone, or close to being gone. So it's just going to start becoming points of resistance, right? So don't forget, bag holders. Now supporters, right? That's what the volume profile really helps you glean. Let's take a fib. Let's see what we see on this fib. So, I would take the fib from here right now. Okay, we're just going to take it from. Come on, you. Okay, so yeah, back to again, weekly bull flag, bull pennant really, monthly bull pennant. Possible cup and handle formation. It's not a true cup and handle because it's already taken out this high. The characteristic of a cup and handle is that it doesn't take out the left side. This has done so already. So really, if you want to forget about patterns, this is just a great monthly move because this is great monthly consolidation it just had, which enables it to go again. I'm in deep yellow. I tried, I was posting some videos on this thing through here saying I wasn't interested, and I became interested. And it's harder to buy on the US exchange. It's just as simple as that. I mean, I could buy in the ASX, but the fees and whatever. So, I was putting in my chunk orders and they just weren't getting filled because I was putting in fill all or don't fill at all orders because they'll just give me 50 shares and charge me the $50. So I just won't do that. So um, I missed it. I missed the entry here, and that's just what it is. Uh, Due to this bounce, this weekly bounce, the most likely scenario is a weekly higher low compared to this level. Um, Consolidation back down into these moving averages, perfectly feasible. Island reversal, right? Maybe that gap gets filled. So a back test into this area, this 136. I mean, wouldn't be surprising. It'd be perfectly fine. Great piece of monthly consolidation, looking like it wants to continue on. So deep yellow. I mean, I'm in. I have it. I don't have enough. Um, I wish I had more, but I'll be stingy. I'll just make my money in something else. But what I have, I'm just holding. And maybe if I get up, if the thing gets up here, I'm probably going to be some sort of seller. But I think that's a long way away, quite possibly, unless something crazy happens. But Deep Yellow looks fantastic. Look at the volume ramp up, just beautiful. Uh, oh God, Lotus. Yeah, I have a position in Lotus, and forgetting all this, but this monthly move is fine. And this is one of those times where, when they say you can't do technical analysis on these micro caps, these much smaller guys, there's some validity to that in the effect that, how do you do technical analysis on this with all this wicking and whatnot? But my technical analysis is pretty simple as far as this is concerned. It's riding the moving averages. I mean, this is a monthly 12 EMA 200-day moving average rider. It's exactly what it's doing. It's as clear as day. So forget about patterns and wicks and all that stuff. That's what it's doing. It lost it here and acted as resistance for quite some time, right? Once it lost it, it acted as resistance for over a year. So it just got back over in July, August, right? What was this run? It was monthly the 200-day moving average rider, okay? March 2020, it rode it all the way up to May 2022. Took a year of riding it down. Now it's flipped. Well, maybe we get a year. Maybe you get a symmetric move of this run, right? So I have no idea. I'm not even. This is just pure speculation, but um, you know, 1,300% move, 65% pullback off of that. You know, 1,300% move. That gets you to 234, which there is action up here. I mean, without even, I wasn't even looking, but there's action up here, right? So 23% fib extension. I mean, there's stuff here that you can look at. I'm not even doing that. The way I'm seeing Lotus is I'm just hanging on to it. And it's a position that's small enough that I won't get hurt, but big enough that if it does make this move, I'll be in great shape. That's Lotus Paladin monthly. Yeah. So again, like Deep Yellow, actually stronger than Deep Yellow. If you're using the metric of taking out that recent high from September of 2021, this is when everybody's, by the way, this is when everybody was screaming, it's going to the moon. Everything in the sector, the November 2021 highs We're all going to the moon. Get your Lambos. People were posting pictures of Lambos. I'm going to be rich. I'm going to retire. Wah. So euphoria has its place in technical analysis. So anyway, Paladin is, working through these recent levels. Now, Paladin's got a lot of data to work with. So here's the life of the stock. But again, our bag holder indicator says the bag holders are basically gone, right? So now we're just dealing with this level here. There's structure here, right? So there is structure here, okay? This is structure. And it's working its way into this, what I'll call value area, because that's exactly what it is. So back in 2012, this acted as some value area. And it's doing it again. So the last of your bag holders, well, they're going to be up here actually, right? But this is it. We're coming into this zone now where there could be easily feasible to see chop, to see some buying and selling, to see some consolidation. Um, Regardless, okay? Monthly 12 EMA rider, 200-day moving average rider. That's what the ASX, like I can just tell you, like the decent names in the ASX, like the Paladins and your Bannermans and your Boss Energy, they're doing the monthly 12 EMA rider and 200-day moving average ride. It's as clear as day. Okay, you can't do technical analysis. Don't do it. Just watch your moving average riders because commodities in general are trenders. They like to trend. All right, it's plain and simple. Yeah, a little hot on the weekly, sure. Right? Does that matter? Maybe, maybe not. Right? Look, oh, there's RSI divergence. There's some guy in 2020. Look at the RSI divergence. It's going down. Look at this divergence. It's going down. Imagine listening to someone saying the RSI divergence and missing all of this move. All right. So from this divergence, which is this level right here, um, to all the way. I mean, it never reached that level again. You know, so yeah, the RSI divergence. Anyone who's playing that game in the uranium space, especially, um, they might be doing themselves a little bit of a disservice. So, yeah, the weekly, great consolidation and now making its next move. So you can just see what Paladin does, right? It makes its move, consolidates for a while. I mean, this is like 6 months of consolidation, 2 to 3 months, 4 months, right? Makes another move, consolidate. You want this. This is what you want. We want this to happen over and over. Weekly 12 EMA, 50-day rider. That's all it is. Moving average riders, they're huge in this space. Pay attention. That's all I'm telling you. Paladin looks absolutely fine. It's coming into this value zone where we expect to see some chop. Next spot where we're going to see some chop is up here at 327 area, right? $3 to $4. That's where you'll see some chop. Peninsula, dog of the dogs, right? Uh, this is a stock that anybody that looks at this chart says, shouldn't be in it. There's no reason to be in this chart, especially if you compare it to the rest of the space. I'm in the chart. I'm in small, thank God. Because I was in here. You know what? I really was. I was in somewhere over here. Never sold it. Didn't do any trading on this stock. Again, ASX stuff. I don't like to really trade. I try to hold, and I'm paying for it, right? So I definitely added in here, and thankfully it's a very small position. But you know, if you're going to ask me if I'm going to sell this stock, my answer is yes, and I'm probably going to end up being too early on it. But whatever. That's Peninsula. I'll probably end up selling somewhere in this area. Silex, right? Great chart. Looks just like everything else, right? Monthly, beautiful move. Like Silex is another one. It just gives you a chance. Like if you missed it and you feel like you have to chase it, well, I don't feel that way. So I I just know because I can see what it does. Monthly 12 EMA rider with the 200-day moving average. It's been doing it for 3 years. And it did it to the downside for a lot longer than that, right? So this is the point with if you're trying to figure out like when am I supposed to leave this trade, there are metrics that tell you to leave this trade. Okay, there are metrics. There were signs. Monthly 12 EMA with the 200-day moving average. When it lost it and never truly regained it back until uh, really until March of 19. That's when it regained it back. Okay? 10 years, 12 years. Okay? Moving average riders, commodities love to trend. Their respective equities will love to trend. Is everybody getting this? Understand the metric that you can use to keep yourself in or get yourself out of the game. It's as clear can be. Forget about all the guys with their predictions. Forget about all the guys with their head and shoulders patterns or inverse blah blah blah. It's okay on the daily to try to catch some moves, fine. Long term views, moving average riders. Okay? That's the deal. Silex, I'm in this somewhere in here, I think. And I sold half pretty quick, probably before it even got through this. So I think I sold half pretty quick. I have no intentions of selling anytime soon, um, unless something tells me otherwise, right? So just the nuclear space in general is developing in the world. Silex could be a big beneficiary of that. So, you know, that's the deal with the ASX right now. Everything looks the same except the appropriate named boss because they are the boss, regardless of Chappie and his valuation numbers and whatnot. Okay? Boss is cranking. Over and out.